Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a legacy video every Friday. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another legacy video, and today I'm trying a really exciting deck. I'm recording this a couple of days after the Legacy Sunday Challenge, in which I also played, and in which WonderPreaux Doomsday Maestro took down the tournament with this Tempo Doomsday deck. I've only made like a couple of small tweaks, and I'll get into them. But this is like one of those things where like I wish I was better at like innovating and coming up with new stuff. And I have no idea how like how good this is, because sort of on paper I feel like it's sort of like, like the bumblebee that's not supposed to be able to fly but still can. Like this deck has 2 Wastelands, 3 Stifle, and 2 Orcish Bowmasters as the most sort of quote unquote outside the box elements to a what is otherwise sort of a Dimir turbo list. Um, and I don't know how much of like WonderPreaux's dominance of that tournament came down to people not being prepared and like seeing, I don't know, like cycle Street Wraith on turn 1 and then cast Ponder, and then the next turn they get Bowmastered or Wastelanded, and like, what the hell? So, or whether this is actually like a viable sort of way to build Doomsday. I'm leaning towards the latter, with maybe like sprinklings of the former. Like, I definitely think there were some, like, it was a very wise sort of way to blindside the tournament and the format, because no one saw this coming. That's sort of the thing with the card like Stifle, for instance. It's always better if you're not expecting it, I think. But I do think Stifle is actually super interesting. Yeah, so the thing about Stifle is it has like a lot of sort of off the sort of radar applications in this deck. Like, first of all, like maybe some of the obvious things is like you can stifle an endurance trigger, for instance, which is cool. Um, you can stifle a wasteland on one of your lands. Like a lot of the time, I feel like the deck loses to that. And while you're losing a card from your hand to basically Stone Rain their land drop, it's still like it plays really well into the 4 days and also play Wasteland plan. That playing Stifle and Wasteland basically improves days. Um, and yeah, but yeah, it's hard to really say. I've played 2 leagues with this so far. I like 3 2'd and 4 1s. So I mean that's positive, obviously. Another thing that WonderPreaux innovated here was to put Laboratory Maniac in the sideboard in order to have a reasonable answer or way to win through a Doorkeeper Thrall, the new sort of white flash hate bear that is basically a Torpor Orb. And that card has been popping up in control deck sideboards, but it's sort of a keystone in the Bant. I've heard people call it Hush Knot, the Bant sort of Stifle Dreadnought deck that is being played quite a bit right now. I think it's still to be decided if that deck has legs for real or not. But if like it is certainly like a nightmare for Doomsday to play, because it has main deck. It's sort of pre-boarded versus our deck because it has like Stifles, Dress Downs, and Doorkeeper Thralls in the main deck. Us, inside of a package that is a Wasteland Days Force of Will shell. So having Labman means that you don't care about Torpor Orb in the same sense. And I spoken a bit to WonderPreaux, and he assured me that Predict was really important together with Labman, because it lets you sort of shred through the pile quicker. I can see that. The only change I made to the main deck basically was I added a Consider. I just couldn't really. It didn't sit right with me that I didn't have a way to win with Brainstorm plus card in hand and blue mana floating. So what I did was I cut the second Edge of Autumn for a Consider, and yeah, I'm not sure how big of a difference that's gonna make, but yeah, I that's what I did. Um, I think also like if we were playing Unearth, predict still wins with 1 blue mana and Brainstorm. But we're not playing Unearth, so or Reanimate. And yeah, I don't know. Like I spoke to Kai Sawatari about it, and he was very skeptical. And in his words, Labman is the ultimate boomer card, and I'm sure that's correct. And together with Stifle is like people from my generation of Magic and Legacy are like super duper excited to try and play these cards, and we'll probably play them even if they're not good. But this is from the list that won the tournament on the weekend, so I mean I don't know. Yeah, I think I made maybe one or two more tweaks to the sideboard. Um, so I'm playing a Brazen Borrower in lieu of like a Fatal Push, but I think that it's down to those kinds of tweaks. And yeah, I mean I think that's all there is to say right now, and I'm gonna jump into the league. All right, on the draw for round number 1 against Spatula of the Ages, who aside from having an awesome username is also it's someone I kind of recognize. I can't remember what they usually play, but it's definitely a username I've seen before. Meanwhile, we have a yeah, we're gonna keep this hand. It's not it's not a sort of a pristine hand, but it's certainly plays. Cavern is a little bit ugly in the opening here, but all right, and we draw Doomsday, so that's nice. I'm gonna just float the Underground Sea here. We can stifle a Wasteland, um, and we can Brainstorm end of turn if we feel like it. They're just passing, huh? Interesting. I think I am gonna Brainstorm. Like, if they were on 8 cards, I wouldn't make a game action here. I would just make them go to discard, but I do think I am ready to do this. Okay, cool. Let's put away Cavern of Souls. Yeah, and then we'll like draw the Lotus Petal. And I am gonna cast the Petal as well. Alright, if they're on a Stifle, I'd rather have them stifle this fetch land activation. Okay, but they didn't. Alright, let's cast Doomsday. We have force protection here and are sort of immune to soft counters. They just wow, it just resolves. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna put maybe both oracles in the pile. How do we like that? We already have consider. I'm not sure if this pile. I'm not used to playing with 2 oracles. I'm not sure this makes sense then with the Edge of Autumn. Kind of prefer not to be like losing land. So maybe I like consider away the edge, draw Street Wraith, draw for turn Cavern on Thassa, and then like if they have removal for it, then we have Thassa next turn as well. Yeah, that seems fine. Or I mean, we can just get to the end of the pile, in which case I'm going to consider away the one Thassa. But if then they have surgical extraction, that's really funny. But yeah, consider away Thassa, draw a Street Wraith, then draw Edge for turn, and then cycle. Yeah, I guess that makes more sense. In that case, I probably should have made the second Thassa something else. That okay. So what is this tropical island deck doing? Basic forest. So they have dress down mana now. So dress down plus force of will kills us here. So maybe I just take my draw actually, so that I have the second Thassa, and then I can make the plan that I initially thought I would do. All right, so I'm gonna cast Consider here. Let me just make sure. So Consider bins a cycler, draws the other cycler, and I'm gonna cycle into the cavern here, and hopefully they don't also have Wasteland. If they have dress down plus force, and then they also have Wasteland, that's kind of unfortunate. All right, so they just concede. I'm left to sideboard against Tropical Island Basic Forest. So theoretically, this could be Infect. It could be Beanstalk. It could be... I don't think that Bant Dreadnought deck would play Basic Forest, but I could be wrong. Could theoretically be Rhinos. I think I want Shouldered, and what else? I don't know, maybe that's it. Like, if it is Rhinos, I would love Force of Negations. If it is Beanstalk, I would love the third Bowmasters. It is a Force of Will deck, I feel pretty sure about that. So I'm going to board out Consider an LED. Maybe I'll swap the Personal Tutors for the Shouldreds and then board in, like, third Bowmaster plus Duress. I don't know. Duress is a little bit wonky if they're like on Veil of Summer. All right, so we have a bunch of lands and Bowmasters and Children, and I'm gonna keep this. Prismatic Vista. Okay, so this smells more like Beanstalk. Oh, it's Enchantress. Okay, so Enchantress. I got by Enchantress the other day. I'm pretty happy about Bowmasters and Children though. Yeah, I got smoked by them when they had like was it? Yeah, it was. They had Angel's Grace in the post board, so I lost game two after having taken game one, and then they had. I can't remember exactly how they got me in game. Yeah, I think it was because I basically just had to play around um, Angel's Grace the whole game, which was a little bit frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna brainstorm end of turn because I want to be able to cast my Bowmasters next turn. Let's put away this Undercity Sewers for sure. Oh, that's nice. We can't cast Predict for fun and profit right now, so I'm gonna put away the Edge of Autumn, I think, and I guess I'll draw that one, and I'll pass. Carpet of Flowers. This seems like something I might be interested in countering, to be honest. Yeah, I'm gonna force that. They're choked on mana right now, at least a little bit. They missed their land drop last game or last turn, and I'm pitching the Predict because I'm banking on drawing another blue card, and I think that's gonna be more important. And okay, they didn't draw a card here, so I'm still gonna flash in the Bowmasters, just get the beats on. I'm gonna see if I can curve Bowmasters into Shieldred 2 turns from now, or I can just Shieldred now. I like that. And we can fetch Undercity Sewers and see if we can find a blue card and then cycle Edge if we really need it. Hail Mary style. Okay, let's play Shieldred, and now the pressure's really on. Leyline Binding. Well, I would prefer for that not to happen. Undercity Sewers, show me a blue card. It's a Dark Ritual. I am going to fight here or attempt to hit a blue card here. I might not, but okay, I do. That's fortunate. I get to draw. What I like about this deck is that the blue count is really high. All right. That was on their upkeep, yeah. So they tried to not take two from Shoulder It there. That's fair. And swing for 6. They're at 8. They're at 6 once they untap. They might have a second Leyline. That's certainly possible. Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, they dress down. Sure. So they get a turn of reprieve here. But that means there's, unless they can remove it now, they're still taking 8. Sorry, they're taking 6 on my next turn, putting them to 2. And then it's probably over. Shoulder too strong. Yeah, I obviously didn't have Enchantress on the radar at all, but it panned out, bringing in the draw punishers. All right, and we are up a game, or up a 1-0. Let's go to round number 2. All right, on the draw for round number 2, opponent keeps 7, and we're going to keep 7. We have Force plus Doomsday, but looking for a black mana source to curve out and cast this. All right, opponent starts off with this, which I don't think you do if you have another land, at least not if it's like yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I do feel like testing the waters with this Wasteland. And meanwhile, we draw Street Wraith. Let's waste. See if that does anything. Okay, Volcanic Island, so it's probably Grixis Delver. We get a Ponder. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how to play against Grixis or like any tempo strat with this deck. I guess having the Fatal Push is probably better than having the Brazen Borrower, though Borrower can bounce Murktide. I think we were supposed to lean into Shieldred and more Bowmaster. Not sure about the Bowmaster though. Also not sure how good Stifle is versus them, but it's might not be useless. Okay, they do not shuffle, and they pass. Okay, love to draw Dark Ritual. Draw Stifle. Okay, so I think I play Polluted Delta here, and if they put a fetch land on this like activation on the stack, I might stifle that. If not, I'll probably just Undercity Sewers. Oh, there's that fetch land. So if I fetch now with the fetch land activation on the stack, they can Bowmaster me, and I can't pay through a daze. So maybe I'm just gonna wait. I'm kind of worried about that. Oh, another Doomsday. All right, let's pass again. They're just taking the draw. It's the third card from the Ponder, I believe. Well, I mean, I am gonna try and get them here. This is certainly or very likely a Wasteland deck as well. I mean, I could also be completely misreading this, and this could be like the Epic Storm. I'm not sure how their mana base looks these days, but I know that they're playing the Surveil lands. That would be a reason to fetch on their turn. That's sort of an old Storm heuristic. Ooh, they're missing their land drop. Okay. Well, I'm going to fetch now. We'll see if they also are a Stifle deck. I would be kind of surprised because who plays Stifle, right? I think I'll take the Petal. Yeah, take the Petal makes me be able to cast Doomsday, get ahead of a daze. This is super. I'm considering a super high risk play, which is to go with my read that it might be Storm, and then just try and go for the win right now. But that loses to literally any counterspell. Um, you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I'm gonna put another Stifle on top, because if it is a Storm deck, then me just passing and having one Force of Will as my only layer of protection is kind of weak. Um, and they didn't like if it is just a Delver deck or a Tempo deck. They didn't have Wasteland last turn. Um, and I think this can sort of play. So right now I can like cycle Street Wraith into Stifle. That also lets me stifle another fetch land if they were to have one. And then we could also put Predict in the pile. How'd that look? So we would like cycle Wraith, draw Stifle, then draw Predict away Edge of Autumn, draw. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's try that. And if they do Wasteland us or whatever, and we aren't gonna stifle it, we can always just predict them to use Predict as a cycler. Edge with Predict on top. Okay. So this lets us win next turn and gives us the Stifle as interaction. Would like to know what I'm up against though. Mox Opal. Okay, so I think it is Storm. How about that? All right. Well, I mean, if they, the way they could beat us here is if they get to resolve like Peer into the Abyss. But if they're just going for like a Storm spell like Tendrils or whatever, then I'm gonna stifle them. Burning Wish. Okay, they get Thoughtseize. Okay, that's actually a pretty sweet play. So, but they are like I think they have to take Force of Will here because they aren't sitting on 4 mana. The Chromox isn't tapping for mana. So I think I let this resolve. They take probably Force of Will. If they take Street Wraith, then I'm worried. Yeah, they take the Force. There's Mox Opal. Do you have Tendrils as your last card? Or Beseech, probably? There's Beseech. Okay. I think now this ends in probably this has to end in a Tendrils, I think. Yep. Okay. So now I have to cycle this with the Storm trigger on the stack, and I get to feel all clever for putting Stifle there. All right. Cool. They concede. All right. So Well, we want the Forces of Negation, and probably the extra Duresses, even though they are a Veil of Summer deck. Could board in Leyline of the Void, but I'm a little bit sus on that. And then, like, the Shouldreds, I think, are like a maybe card. But I'm not sure how much I'm actually comfortable cutting here. I think I might want to cut Wasteland. I mean, it did work here, but I don't think having to wait. I don't know. I think we can cut a Thassa and we can cut Cavern of Souls. And I'm not sure if Bowmasters do enough. I'm gonna cut the Personal Tutors. I think maybe I do also cut the fast win. The temptation of having LED plus Consider in the deck is that they are typically a deck that plays zero interaction. They aren't typically boarding in like Pyroblasts or I guess Dress Downs or whatever. So it is fairly usually free to just go for the win if you have it versus them. But and sort of cutting ourselves off that means we're usually going to be passing the turn, which is always a little bit dicey versus them, as we just witnessed. But yeah, in that case, maybe I board out a Petal as well, and then I don't know how high to value the Bowmasters and the Shieldreds. Like they are likely an Echo of Eons deck, so Shieldred is pretty good. Maybe I go down one Duress. So I'm on like 7 force effects, 4 days, 3 stifle, and 2 discard spells. That's probably good enough. Maybe actually then keeping 2 Duress over Thoughtseize Duress is better because they aren't really a deck that plays a lot of creatures typically. And this is interesting. This gets punished if we go for it and they discard the Thassa. But I am gonna keep. All right, here we go. Lotus Petal. Do you have game 1 fireworks or turn 1 fireworks? Okay. No land. Okay. I think this is risky. Like I don't at all feel comfortable going for the turn 1 Doomsday with 0 layers of protection. I think I'm gonna force. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna ponder looking for a force or a daze, and ideally also second land. There's daze and Shieldred and second land. Yeah, I like all these. Start with the daze. Wow. No action, huh? So, how about we go Doomsday and then fetch a land, and there are 4 cards left in the deck, and we put 2 Lotus Petals, Force as the cards. Then we either are able to brainstorm into double force or the win. I mean, this open mana, like they could have something nutty like a Flusterstorm, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, so Petal, Force, and I guess Underground Sea. And unless they're playing Stifle, it won't matter. So, like the order of things. All right, show me Petal. Okay, they concede. All right, guess they were sitting on a little bit of nothing, and or I guess if I were them and I saw this, I would also just assume that the win was locked up. When the Doomsday player resolves Doomsday and then casts a Brainstorm with cards in hand. All right, cool. 2-0. Let's go for round number 3. All right, on the draw once again here for round number 3. I'm going to keep this hand. It plays Magic. Flooded Strand, huh? Okay, I'm going to most likely go for Underground Sea Ponder unless I draw Stifle here. I don't. I draw an Oracle. Dark Ritual is not the worst, and I would like the second land. Well, I guess it's the third land, but the swamp's not doing a lot for me. This also lets us, if we get Wastelanded here, it lets us like fetch basic island, have basic swamp, move on with our lives with a Dark Ritual. So another Underground Sea deck, another Undersea Sewers surveilling here. Oh, okay. So this is like a blue-black Scamnator tempo deck. Dothy Voidwalker, huh? Is this worth the days? I think it is. I'm not too worried about cards like leaving or not going into my graveyard, but like just getting their threat out of here is kind of interesting to me. So we draw Dark Ritual. I'm going to play Misty Rainforest here and then see how we go. Wasteland, huh? And another Dothy. I think I fetch Basic Island here and cast Consider with this on the stack. I'll take a Brainstorm. I draw Wasteland. Is that good for anything? I mean, it might be. Alright, I'm going to lead off with Brainstorm. And we draw Stifle, huh? Stifle is awkward now because with Dothy, if they just float the Stifle in play, the Dothy, we can't Doomsday. Well, I mean, we can, but yeah, I'm sure you understand what I mean. We'll get got. All right, this is gonna take a little while, I think. So I am gonna float the Stifle, and then I'm gonna Wasteland them. I'm gonna Wasteland their Underground Sea and pass. And they're Swamp Cycling, so who cares about Wasteland? Another Dothy. Beats are gonna be on here. I'm not really loving my spot, not gonna lie. And if I put Force of Will in I think though the thing about Dothy is like they're gonna want to be attacking with it. I'm playing into days that they don't seem to have. Yeah, like they're not keeping back the Dothy to have an emergency Force of Will. I think I am just gonna like try and get the Stifle here off on the Wasteland. Not sure what else I'm. Is there any other? I could Stifle the Dothy effect. If I did that, it would be sacrificed still. Still, I think having like I have lands in play though. Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm drawing a basic swamp too. Maybe I actually hold on to the Stifle. It might be crazy, but I'm drawing a lot of lands. Ponder, okay. Another Wasteland, okay. And reanimate on the Troll. Can't stop that. Probably is gonna mean GG's. So we're gonna be at 12 now. They're gonna beat us down to 3 next turn. I'm drawing basic swamp. Yeah. And I already showed them the Wasteland. So they know we're on some sort of techie whatever. I don't think anything saves us here. It would have to be an almighty powerful Brainstorm. Brainstorm showing us second Brainstorm and Doomsday. Yeah. So there needs to be 2 Brainstorms and a copy of Doomsday in the top 4 cards. And one of the Brainstorms has to be the top card. And they also have to not have like Force of Will in their 3-card hand. Brainstorm, yeah. We were just talking about you. Alright. Well, that doesn't work. We cycle Street Wraith, will be at 1. Alright. Let's bring in... Yeah, I don't know. So, I want to bring in the ley lines against this Reanimator strategy. I kind of want to bring in Childred, but like it is so incredibly sad panda moment if we have a ley line out and then they like grief our Childred and reanimate it. I guess Brazen Borrower can come in and the Duresses and 3rd Orc. So what do we cut here? I don't feel like Wasteland is a viable strategy versus them. Probably Stifle isn't really either, although it might be. I don't know. Let's cut. I feel like boarding this many cards in, we kind of have to cut some number of cards related to the Doomsday package. Probably not going to try and go for a same turn kill. Board out LED and Consider. And we're at 22 blue cards, so sort of approaching sort of critical failure rate. Not really though. It's I think we're still sort of decent there. Maybe we cut a Street Wraith and a Thoughtseize. And what else? I guess I'm okay cutting one of the Thasas. Oh, I still need to cut one more card. God damn it. Yeah, I mean, I'll cut the Predict. Nicest that is. I'm leaving myself pretty thin in terms of if I actually do resolve Doomsday. I have 1 Edge of Autumn. Yeah, this might be like a mistake. Well, I mean, This is like an insane hand, so I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put in the ley line. So I'm gonna ponder looking for a daze, and then I'm gonna probably Doomsday, no matter what. But I would like a daze. I don't get daze. I get force of will, but I don't think. I mean, that's it. Duress also. It's not good enough. I would rather Dark Ritual Doomsday right now and bank on them not having a force of will than passing and having my Doomsday griefed. So I'm gonna shuffle. We draw Bowmasters. Well, that's not the worst. If this Doomsday does get countered, we have a ley line in play and an avenue towards a Bowmasters, but they had the force. Bummer. Okay. And they pitched Narset. Right on. Alright, let's pass. Let's hope this ley line is gonna pay off. They are just land go. I mean, they showed us main deck Dothies, so they aren't like that heavy on the graveyard. They have other threats. Gonna put Petal into the graveyard. I could have kept Petal and then be able to like Orcish Bowmasters through a daze. Or like if they Wasteland now, but I think I would rather like try and prioritize a blue card. For the force. No Wasteland, but they are casting spells here. Okay. They do not shuffle, so they like what they found. Come on, blue card or land. Get a blue card. Alright, I'm passing. Okay, yeah, sure. Troll, Ghost by Bio. And I think I pass here, or not pass, I don't put in the Bowmasters. I think a lot of this is going to be about who, like, blinks first with regards to Bowmasters. And, okay, now I can Stifle plus Force if I were so inclined. Okay, so they had Bowmasters. Bowmasters come in. And then I Bowmaster. Hope you don't have Force plus Days or something. Days, I Force. Bowmasters is in. Alright. Hope you don't have a second Bowmasters. How many times can we say Bowmasters? Bowmasters, Bowmasters. They are attacking. So that makes me think they drew a Bowmasters or had one. So I'm not going to block here. I'll get to keep my token if they had a Bowmasters. Yeah. Oh, nuts. And they reanimate my Bowmasters. Sure. Okay. So we're getting completely destroyed. Okay. That's actually not the worst here. So they didn't have second days before. I'm just trying to work out if I'm supposed to wait here or not. I think I'm going to wait and do it on their turn. Although, does that matter? Because I think I still want to do it before combat. So I'm going to bounce my Bowmasters. Hope they don't have a discard spell. Okay. Somehow we're not completely dead yet, but let's see what they do here. Paying costs. Ponder. I want to see a shuffle. Oh, they don't shuffle. Oh no. Take 4. I'm at 12. Brainstorm. Ugh. So much selection. Dothy. Okay. So 1 card left, but it's probably too late. I'm taking like 6 a turn here. I might have to like chump block the orc army. Salvation lies in Shouldred, I think, right now. Yeah. Get in front of that. Preserve my life total. Lotus Petal. Okay. Go on, Ponder. Okay, so let's see here. If I... Okay, so... This Shouldred, it's probably not going to do enough. Let's just try and do the math here. Alright, so... They attack. I block Orc Army. I take 3. I go to 6. Then I cast Shouldred. And if they attack, I take 3 from Orc Army. Sorry, from Dothy. I'm at 3. And then Shouldred eats the army. I untap, go up to 5. So I am going to do this. But they need to not have anything at all. I'm going to play out this Petal. Because if they do, like, grief me or something. Or Thoughtseize me. And there was a big pause on that, so they might have... I hope they have, like, Force of Negation, basically. Okay, now they're representing Hardcast Force. But, you know, the line right, beggars can't be choosers. So we have to. Yeah, I forgot about the fetch land. So I'll be at 6 now. I'll be at 5 from the fetch. And then I'll take 3. I'll be at 2. So it's looking a little bit bleak here. I'm not gonna lie. And what's in my exile zone? Is there any answer to Shieldred? Ponder Bowmasters. There's actually a Bowmasters in my exile zone they could take. The one I just blocked with. Alright. Do you have Daze or Force of Will? Those are the cards we care about, I think. Okay, Shieldred's in. Is that because you have an answer? Yeah, they're paying costs. No! Yeah, alright, GG's. Alright, so we got our asses handed to us there, but I mean, I feel like we had a force check hand. If they don't have Force of Will there in their opener, the game's over, I think. Because we just make a pile that finishes with lands in play, a Cavern of Souls, and Thassa. Alright, off to round number 4. Alright. So this is my good friend Kai. Oh no. Okay, so Kai's on the play and likely on Doomsday, but who knows? I'm gonna keep this hand and try and cheese him with a Lotus Petal stifle your face. I don't even have to pedal here. I'm actually gonna pedal. Womp womp. All right, Tropical Island. Wonder what that means. Maybe I do just cycle the Street Wraith first, try and get a bit of card deeper. Ooh, you don't say. Let's Wasteland here. No lands, Kai. Let's ponder. I would really like to find another land. That's not another land. Let's shuffle these. All right, and we pass. So we both miss a land drop there. Kai going to discard here. Fatal Push. Okay. I feel like it's probably not Doomsday then. Could be Bug. What's it called? Bug Beanstalk. All right, so Thassa's Oracle can go away, as can second Lotus Petal. And we can just cast another Ponder here. We find Doomsday. Gotta love it. Let's pass. Oh no, Wasteland. Okay, so Kai not wasting, maybe wants to play around Daze. So probably has Force of Will. Force of Will, pitch Daze. Okay. I force back. Pitch my own Daze. Would rather have this consider second Force. Holy moly. Okay. Yeah, there's I think there's a snow-covered island on top of the deck. So we can't really even like do. I think that's fine. That's just how it's gonna have to be. Was sick. 2 Dazes were pitched. Okay. All right. I'm gonna consider away the basic land here, and hopefully draw something nice. Dark Ritual. Haha. Wasteland. So I don't think the exchange of me like wasting Kai's Wasteland is acceptable here. I think I am just gonna pass. I keep the Wasteland in hand. And not drawing anything there, Kai. Second Doomsday. Don't mind if I do Doomsday. And I am gonna spend the Dark Ritual here. I don't believe Kai is sandbagging a second, or rather a third Force of Will. So I am just gonna... I probably just... I don't know. Do I need... I was just wondering if I need to play around that anyways. Which I can, I guess. We could put Predict in here. Where are you, Predict? And then a second Oracle or something. Would Kai have any like 0 cost removal spell, like Snuff Out? But he doesn't even have a swamp, so it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm actually okay. Never mind. I'm off Predict here. I'm gonna put both Oracles in the pile, and I'm gonna cycle Sack LED. And then, no wait, that doesn't work. I was gonna say I was gonna get like to put Thassa through the cavern. I think I still need Predict. So both Thassas on the bottom probably. Yep. So okay, hang on. I am gonna waste Kai. so as to not get my cavern wasted later, if there is a later. So floating blue mana, gonna sack the land. Kai is targeting with Wasteland. And float blue. Let's resolve these Wasteland. They both fizzle these Wasteland effects. And Street Wraith. And we play the Thassa. And Thassa's in. Alright, cool. Cool beans. Well, we got to really cheese with those early turn with that Stifle and that Wasteland. Yeah, so Kai's on Bug Beanstalk. I think the Shieldreds and Orcs are pretty good. I think Duress is pretty good as well. What are we happy to cut here? Probably LED, Consider, and the Personal Tutors. Yeah. What else? What else? What else? What's the final cut here? There are like a Days Stifle deck themselves, or at least some number of Stifle, but like Days Wasteland, so cutting Petals is probably not something we're super happy to do. Yeah, maybe I'll just cut the second Thassa. I do like having second Thassa versus Stifle, but yeah, let's try this. All right, yeah, I like this hand. Kai's on 7 cards. Okay, I'm gonna actually lead on the Sewers here, and I'll keep the Thoughtseize on top. And Kai has Sewers himself. Is it Beanstalk time? It is. Up the beanie. Okay, so I think I Thoughtseize here. Okay, so the Murktide Regent is probably the card I'm most worried about here. It's that or Daze. We are a little bit away from casting Murktide though. And I think I actually take the Brainstorm here, honestly. And then I'm gonna cast Ponder, and we'll see if we get to cast Shoulder next turn. Okay, I do get Dazed, so I think now it's all about racing towards the thing, racing towards Murktide. Kept a card on top. All right, Petal. I get a Daze. Okay, I think this means I get to resolve Mama Shieldred. So I'm gonna Wasteland the Trop. I'm gonna move into the second, my second turn, second main phase. I mean, and I'm gonna try and resolve Shieldred. Shieldred's in. All right, let's hope there's no like edict or something. Yep, you can ponder. Num 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 num. We do not shuffle with the ponder. Hopefully this Daze and Shieldred and okay. Dark Ritual is nice. I think I'm gonna cycle Street Wraith right now for freezies. We get Stifle, huh? I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to Bowmasters now. I think we can wait on the Bowmasters. We have Daze, and we can like stifle a fetch land. Okay, never mind. Murktide comes in, it draws a card. Kai's at 7. We have Murktide. I think I'm gonna Bowmasters now, just for the extra ping. I'd love to draw like a Brainstorm here. The second Daze is not the worst. Yeah, I think I just pass here. I think like Kai's taking 2 a turn here. He can't attack with Murktide. There's a Bowmasters. I think I let that happen, and I'm not gonna spew the Stifle here. I could Stifle this, but I don't think it matters that much. Ponder. Okay, so he has to remove Shoulder now before his next turn. GG's. All right, cool beans. Off to the final round. All right, round number 5. Opponent says hi, YouTube. Everyone say hi to Wizard Pasta. And we're on the draw for the full 5 games in a row on the draw, 5 matches. I'm gonna keep this hand. Yeah, like positive record is locked. Let's see if we can go for the 4-1. Uh-oh. 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 Oh no, what is this? Name sticker goblin? Yikes. And they hit the full 6. No! Muxus, no! Oh man, we're just getting the full turn 1 here. And they hit, what, Bombardiers and Ringleader? Do I have a way to beat this? They're just in play. So I take 4 from the 2 hasters, then they can fling the ringleader for two, like, well, 6 more. Muxus gets +1. So right now Muxus is getting +4. So it's like 8, 10, 12. And then they can fling Muxus for another 6. Yeah, I'm super dead. Do I, like, what would if Brainstorm hits Petal, Dark Ritual, Cycler, or Petal, Petal, Dark Ritual? I mean, we have to try it, right? And it doesn't. And we're dead. Okay. Right on. That was that was brutal. How do we do sideboarding here? I think we don't have a lot of good stuff here. We can bring in a Dismember, we can bring in a Brazen Borrower. I think the Stifles are okay because they have a lot of ETB triggers. I think the Bowmasters are not very good. So let's try this. Hang on. Oh no, I think I was supposed to bring in Force of Negation. That was dumb. They are a Chalice of the Void deck. Sometimes other, like Blood Moon, whatever. I will keep this. And I'll put Polluted Delta into play in case they resolve like Blood Moon, which I can't counter. Right now, I at least get to fetch my basic island or basic swamp, depending on what I want. 2 mana, 3 mana. Holy mackerel. And it's Rabble Master? Okay, I think I just kill the Rabble Master before he triggers. I'm gonna get... I am actually gonna get basic island here, because I have the Dark Ritual, so it seems somewhat free, although if they end up like... casting Chalice next turn, I'm gonna be sad. Taking 4 here, but I would have taken much more than that if he had survived. Okay, I'm gonna cast Consider now. Maybe I should have done that on my upkeep. Oh no. No, not all these lands. Okay. Gonna Scalding Tarn here. Be ready to fetch the Undercity Sewers, get the Surveil action. 2 mana. 3 mana. 2 mana. Is this Battlecry Goblin? I can't counter it. Yikes. That's gonna, right now, not do a whole lot, but it's gonna start pooping out goblins soon. Come on, Doomsday. Stifle? Is that good here? This just pumps himself right now. He only makes a red dude, a 1/1 later on. Yeah, I'm gonna put Stifle into the graveyard. Thoughtseize. How upset am I gonna be about Thoughtseizing them? I think I am gonna Thoughtseize. If they have like a broadside and are just waiting for lands, yeah, okay. Rabble Master is not broadside, but it's bad enough. Yeah, I mean, if nothing else happens, I'm gonna drop down to 9 now, and then let's say I Doomsday, I drop down to 4. So we are running out of time here. But that is the Doomsday. And I mean, that is the play. We can hopefully beat, with this day's beat, what they're doing next turn. Let's go for a predict here. I don't expect them to be like a Pyroblast player, in which case they can just Pyroblast the predict, and then like having Cavern doesn't really matter. How does this work? So we draw predict away, Street Wraith, draw Edge and Thassa, and then that's hopefully good enough. This loses to a resolved Blood Moon, but I have Daze, and we know one of the cards in their hand is Muxus, so it would have to be that they have Blood Moon right now, and then draw like an Ancient Tomb or something. But let's see, we could still lose here. Okay. They dome me for 3. Hopefully there's not some... Okay, they concede. Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully there's not some way they can deal me 1 that I don't know about. Alright, cool. Well, we kind of feel like we got away with that. So, should I board in some number of Force of Negations here? I think probably, yeah, maybe in place of a second Thassa and Again, going with the, I guess we want chalice, sorry, cavern in case they chalice us. Uh, I don't know. What's on the play, maybe like the third stifle is, on the draw, I mean, maybe the third stifle is just not good enough. So like stifle here primarily is to like stifle the trigger off of name sticker goblin, or there are secondary use cases like with ringleader and whatever. But okay, do I keep this hand? It is just super slow, right? I think I actually mulligan and keep this and just pray we don't get chalice on turn one. Yeah, I like that. No chalice, no blood moon, please. Rabble master. Okay, so I take one. I'm at 19. Fetch down to 18. Next turn, they attack for 2 goblins. That's 2. 2 from the rabble master. That's 4. Plus another 2. That's 6. So they can deal us 6. Oh, never mind. We just draw the same turn win. How about that? Hope they don't have Mindbreak Trap or Surgical, and we get to do the thing. Wow, that was a lucky draw. Okay, and we put Consider, the 2 cyclers, LED, and Thassa. And we Thassa on the bottom, cycler. We're gonna lose the ability to daze because we only have 1 land and we need to cycle edge, but it's what it is. Consider. Oh, they're suddenly no longer F6'd. They were at the beginning of this, but now they're like pausing on my game actions. So hopefully they don't have my break trap, but we shall see. GG's. All right, cool. All right, man. 4-1. 4-1. Excellent. Okay, let's recap here. So we 4-1. We were on the draw for the entire league. We played against a pretty wide spread of matchups. We played against Enchantress, which I would consider to be a very favorable matchup. Then we played against the Epic Storm, which I think is also a pretty favorable matchup, and especially when we're also running like main deck Stifles. Then we got our asses kicked against Blue-Black Scam, or Blue-Black Tempo. But they had like main deck Reanimate and stuff, so I feel okay calling it Scam, but not. It wasn't the Scaminator deck. And yeah, I mean, then we beat up Bug Beanstalk, and finally here we pulled it out against or pulled it off against Goblins. I think Goblins is something resembling like a coin toss. I'm not sure if one deck is favored versus the other. They got to absolutely go nuts on turn 1 in game 1, and then we had like the turn 1 kill here in game 3, and the game 2 was sort of like could have gone either way. I feel like. I think I still don't feel like a lot wiser than before in regards to the Stifle Wasteland Orcish Bowmasters thing. I feel like it absolutely looked super duper clever versus Storm to have Stifle hidden on top and Street Wraith in hand. It also looked a lot like pretty good versus Bug Beanstalk, but I do feel like Bug Beanstalk is probably not a favorable matchup. Like we were looking into a hand of Force of Negation Spell Pierce, and then we found Shieldred, who just handily sort of dodges that kind of interaction. And I feel like if the Force of Negation is a force of will, it's a lot more like difficult in that spot. And also, like, if the Shieldred is not Shieldred but is Doomsday, then it's a lot more difficult. So I don't know. I mean, I'm digging this. It's super fun. Obviously, I do also feel like Predict is pretty. It's always nice to have Predict as an option for you in your Doomsday deck, just because it's sort of like draws in quotation marks 3 cards for 2 mana at instant speed through the pile. So yeah, I think I'm gonna probably leave it at that, and yeah, let me know what you think. You know, throw it in the comments if you think this is a sort of a viable way forward, or whatever, and do the YouTube stuff, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll be back with some more Legacy.